Hey there, it's Dave D from DaveD.com, where we help professional services providers attract better leads and more clients through mastering the art and science of virtual selling. Well, today I want to give you a really simple strategy that you could literally implement this week and increase your sales. Let me tell you a story. When I first got out of college, I got into radio advertising sales, and I absolutely knew nothing. In fact, my entire training program consisted of the sales manager, no joke, slapping me on the back and saying, "Go out there and get him, kill it." That was all of the training that I had. And I didn't have any clients either. So the sales manager came to me with a file and he said, here are some folks that you can go cold call on. Well, one of them was a pharmacy right around the corner from the radio station. I said, hey, this looks good. It looks like they have money. And then I talked to the former representative, or the person that used to call on this pharmacy. And she basically told me that the two women that ran the pharmacy and did all the marketing and advertising for the pharmacy didn't like radio advertising, didn't like spending money, and that I wasn't going to make a sale. So I felt that was really great motivation. So anyway, I went there, and guess what? She was basically right. These women were not interested in buying radio advertising, but they seemed to like me a little bit. So a couple weeks later, I called on them again. And now, of course, this time I was armed with a little mind reading. I did a little magic for them. And so they began to warm up to me a little bit. And then I went back a couple weeks later. And guess what? They ended up buying and becoming a really good long-term client of mine. Now, the strategy that I'm going to teach you here today is not to learn mind reading, not to learn magic, and not to go cold calling. What I'm going to teach you here is much easier than that, but it follows the fundamental principle of what I did. Remember, tactics change, fundamental principles remain the same, and that is following up. You see, most professional services providers, if they get a no from a prospect, that's basically it. There's no systematic follow-up in place to turn that no into a yes. Oftentimes, if the professional services provider gets a lead or gets a prospect into their funnel, there isn't an extended follow-up to turn that unconverted prospect into an appointment and then into a sale and into a client. And really, honestly, it is a huge marketing sin because it's so easy. So what are some of the ways that you can follow up with either unconverted prospects or prospects that maybe you've actually met with and they said no to your initial offer? They didn't engage you right away. Well, the easiest thing, of course, that you can do is put in an email campaign that gets triggered automatically after you meet with a prospect if they don't engage your services right away. Now, here's the key if you're going to do an email campaign, which you should all be doing, is that the emails can't be, hey, are you interested? Are you interested? Do you want to buy? Now, you don't want to be like a used car salesman pushing and coming across as being needy. This has got to be content driven. So a nice sequence that you can send to an unconverted prospect is after they meet with you, thank them for meeting with you, and then drive them to a recorded webinar. Now, the webinar can be an on-demand webinar. They can watch right there. You can have them register for it, right? So that's great because it's giving them more content. It gives you another chance to sell. So that's number one, a webinar. Then what you do is you can take that webinar and the content pieces of that webinar, you then turn those content pieces into separate emails. So you can either have it transcribed or you can just rewrite it. So now they're getting follow-up content emails, right? And then you could, of course, use Dean Jackson's 9-word email. It's freaking brilliant. Just look up Dean Jackson 9-word email online. You can see what that is. In fact, you could take that email, you can send it out like today and start making sales and getting appointments and getting prospects to say yes. So here is the key though. It's got to be put into a system. Like I said, it is a marketing sin not to have this in place because here's the beauty of this. You've already spent the money on generating the lead. You've already spent money on marketing. That's why selling and follow-up selling is so important because it truly doesn't cost you anything else to follow up with a prospect. It doesn't cost you anything else to get really great at closing the sale. That is where your real money is. So here's my challenge to you for this week. Simply put together a 4 to 5 step email follow-up sequence that is content-based. Maybe one email a week for 5 weeks or for 4 weeks. Now, ideally, you would have a webinar, but you're not going to be able to create that, obviously, this week. But you can absolutely write 4 to 5 content emails, put them into a campaign, put them into an email autoresponder, and every time you meet with a prospect, if they don't engage with you, have that automatically triggered to go out. I'm telling you, if you do this, if you follow through on this simple idea, you will make so many sales that you wouldn't have made otherwise, and you will thank me for years to come. So if you got value from this video, and how could you not? Do me a favor, give this a thumbs up, subscribe to the old YouTube channel, and also set a reminder so you don't miss any of these videos. Also, if you're not a Dave D Daily D-mail subscriber and you want to learn to master the art and science of virtual selling so you can close more sales, attract more clients, help more people, make more money, then go to daved.com. The daily D-mail newsletter is absolutely free, and you get a really killer report about how to create a virtual event that'll generate a lot of appointments for you. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, and I'd love to read your comments as well. Talk to you again soon.